In my field of information systems, a lot of the research that we do and has traditionally done has looked at the positive effects of technology and how can we encourage people to use technology to get those positive effects. So that might be from a personal, a professional, an educational context. But more recently, in the last few years, we've realized that there's a lot of negative consequences that come from technology use. And there's been this swell of research within what we call the dark side of technology use. One of those negative consequences is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, very broadly, can be defined as any hostile or aggressive behaviors performed through information and communication technologies that are intended to harm or inflict discomfort on others. It's important to note that when you compare it to traditional bullying, there's some very distinguishing features for cyberbullying. First of all, it can happen any place, anytime. You are not limited to the schoolyard, you're not limited to school hours. It means that victims really cannot easily remove themselves from the bullying location. The second feature is that cyberbullies can be anonymous. They don't have to show their faces. They can create new identities. They can pretend to be your friends and impersonate your friends. So with this anonymity, there's little fear of repercussion or punishment, which might then encourage them to continue in this behavior when they typically wouldn't do so in a face-to-face setting. And the third one is the reach. It's not limited to who's physically there to witness it. Posting a harmful comment or an embarrassing picture can reach hundreds or thousands in an instant through social media. So what are the effects? It can have tremendous negative impacts on the victim's mental health and well-being. And these impacts go far beyond just feeling bad about oneself. Research has shown that these impacts are short-term as well as long-term. Some of them might include one's ability to be able to learn and to feel safe at school. This is the number one side effect. About 2/3, this is what the research tells us, about 2/3 of victims of cyberbullying suffer in their education. Victims are also more likely to have social, mental health, and behavioral problems, and they can have physical health problems as well. They experience more headaches, stomach aches, and worse. It can also impact their relationships with friends, and even with family. Now, unfortunately, cyberbullying is something that has been increasing steadily over the last number of years, and it is even further exacerbated with COVID-19. We're spending more time online. The more time we spend online creates more opportunities for harassment. So what do? As parents, as teachers, as friends, look for the signs. Look for changes of behavior. That could be somebody becoming more shy and withdrawn than normal, becoming moody, agitated, anxious, stressed out, acting more aggressively, dip in academic performance. This is usually the number one early indicator. Not wanting to go to class or connect over the internet, and changes in eating and sleeping habits. Those are some of those signs we should be looking out for. What we can do, well, it's about having the conversation. It's always important to have that open communication channel, but now probably more so than ever, it is so important and critical for us to have that communication. These are very difficult and challenging times for all of us, and it weighs heavily on this younger generation. Have the conversation so that students know it's not okay to release their frustrations in ways that may hurt others. And if they're victimized, it's okay to talk about it and to seek help. So to wrap up, in many ways, we are so fortunate to have the technology that we do during this pandemic time. It allows us to work, to study, and to stay connected like we never could before. But we also have to be extra vigilant on its negative effects. We need to continuously look for those signs and have those open conversations. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be good to each other.